Today's guide is going to be on Adam Warlock. He's one of the strategists within Marvel Rivals. He's not used so much within Season 1 at the moment, but he is a solid choice when it comes to heroes that can revive within Marvel Rivals. So first we're going to get on into the basics and then we'll go over some additional tips for this hero. But when it comes to his primary attack, he does deal 55 damage per round and he does also have critical hits. Now his attack is hit scan, so this is primary attack is hit scan. Now he does have damage fall off, which decreases at 20 meters, so he does less damage past 20 meters, and then at 40 meters it then decreases even further, but you still get those hit scan attacks and you're still getting critical hits with this as well. For his secondary attack, which is the Cosmic Cluster, you can fire this single fire as well. As you can see here, does 38 damage. And then also, as you can see, you could charge this one up and it deals a total of 190 damage if you land all 5 clusters. Now, these are 5 separate projectiles, so if you spread them out, as you can see, they fire in different directions if you're moving your aim. So the next ability Adam Warlock has is what's called the Soul Bond, and this can connect with up to 6 teammates. And what this does is puts everyone's health in one pool to basically get damage done, and it does heal at 10 HP per second. But basically, if one of your teammates is taking so much damage, then what this does is connects everyone's health together and makes it that they cannot die, essentially, which is how this actually works. So obviously you're going to have Vanguards in the mix, you're going to have some other healers in there, maybe some other DPS heroes with a bit more HP. So that is how this works. So you're still taking damage. Adam Warlock's next ability is the Avatar Lifestream, and as you can see, it heals your teammates for 95 HP as a total of 180 HP because he does have 2 of these, and you do heal yourself 35 HP as well as a total of 70 because of the way this works. And this has 2 bounces, so it can actually bounce between 1 and 2, so that's 3 teammates you can heal all at the same time, which is actually quite a lot, to be honest. And this is within a 20-meter radius, so your teammates do need to kind of be within that range there for receiving the healing. But as you can see there, you are healing all these teammates up. One of Adam Warlock's most powerful abilities is his respawn ability, which does have a couple of seconds where you can basically respawn back into the game. Now it does have a cooldown of 100 seconds, so you can't use this basically constantly, but if you're putting yourself in good positions, you're able to respawn and get back into the fight and then wait for your cooldown, then you can pretty much stay alive with Adam Warlock indefinitely, which is absolutely insane. Adam Warlock's final ability is the ability to respawn teammates. So as you can see here, you use the ultimate, any teammates that have died will respawn back in from where you've done this. Now this can basically respawn up to as many teammates as you want. It does have a couple of seconds on it, so make sure you do use it as the correct timing. It's all about timing with that. But you want to be able to respawn as many teammates as you can, or if you're at an important part of a fight and you need to get your team back into the game as quickly as possible, then that is the best way to do it. So getting on to the additional tips before we get on into the gameplay portion of this video. So first of all, we're going to talk about Adam Warlock's combos. Now the first combo that we have is his secondary attack, which needs charged up, then into his primary attack. And as you can see here, it kills 250 HP players almost instantly there. So as long as you're landing a critical hit, you're going to get them killed immediately. Now, one thing people don't really mention too much is the second version of this combo, which is basically spamming them in and out of each other. And this is basically animation cancelling his primary attack. As you can see here, his primary attack fires relatively quick, but there's still a bit of delay in between that. But if you're firing the secondary attack in there, you're pretty much firing constantly all the time. So as you can see here, dealing tons of damage, getting critical hits, and firing primary and secondary all the time. The next tip that's a little obvious is that you cannot heal with your primary attack. Now, a lot of the other healers in the game do have this ability, so it's just so you don't get confused, you cannot heal with the primary attack with Adam Warlock. Now, the other thing you probably don't know as well is that with the Lifestream ability, you can actually heal yourself with 95 HP as well. So if you're near no teammates whatsoever and you're low on HP, if you just use the ability, aim at the sky, you actually get the 95 HP to yourself. So even though it does state 60 HP or 65 within the game, you can actually heal yourself back almost all the way up to full HP by yourself as long as no teammates are near you. Getting on into the gameplay portion of this now, we're going to go over some additional tips when it comes to Adam Warlock. There's quite a few to get through. But if you want to know which strategist is the best one for you, then we've made a guide on picking the best strategist. And within that guide, we discussed the fact that Adam Warlock is one of the 2 only heroes within this game that can revive teammates back from the dead. And using Adam Warlock's ultimate, you can revive your teammates. Now, they don't revive back at full HP, so one of the best things the pros have came up with doing is putting his ultimate on top of health packs. Now, that means when your teammates do come back, they can instantly grab a health pack and get a lot of their HP back. Now, you can either do this yourself by healing them up and using your abilities, but this is one of the most efficient ways of using health packs in this game because not everyone's just standing on top of a health pack all the time. Now, another thing when it comes to his charge secondary attack, now the secondary attack you want to charge from behind cover. You don't want to be charging it out in the open because you're pretty much vulnerable to dying. And it's not like you're using your combos here because obviously you need to charge up the ability itself to use it. So make sure you charge it up from behind cover, and then when you're out in the open, then you can release your attack and deal damage. That's how you want to use this. You can actually stay alive the whole entire game with Adam Warlock, even though you do die, obviously because you have the ability to respawn yourself. It actually means that you can pretty much stay alive the whole entire match. And the cooldown is pretty long, but if you're doing well within the game, then you shouldn't really be dying all that often anyway. So if you're playing any other hero within this game and you're used to only dying like maybe like 3 to 4 times, you can pretty much die no times with Adam Warlock, which is quite good because it means you're constantly in the fight, constantly in the action. Now, you do want to be using Adam Warlock as a ranged DPS. Now, when it comes to the higher rank games, this is more important. In lower rank games, you can kind of go off and do your own thing a little bit to some extent because people don't really know what they're doing. But obviously, that's the reason why you're watching these guides in the first place. So if you are using Adam Warlock, for the most part, you want to be kind of sitting in the team's backline. And if you want to know how backlines and front lines work, we've explained that all in another video. Again, I'll leave it linked at the end of this one. But for the most part, you want to be at range with Adam Warlock. That is the best way to use this hero. Now, what is pretty special about Adam Warlock compared to other healers within this game is that you can actually heal through walls. So this is group walls and generally any of the destructible walls as well. So Adam Warlock's one of the few heroes that can do this. Because of the way the soul bond works and the way his healing abilities work, you can actually heal through walls with this hero to some extent, which is actually really, really useful. The other thing as well is that Adam Warlock's probably one of the quickest healers to get your team up to 180 HP. Now, as much as Jeff the Shark is probably one of the fastest healers in the game, and so is Loki, but in general, to get that initial 180 HP with the 2 clicks of his finger is actually really fast. Now, if you haven't noticed already, Adam Warlock's abilities rely a lot on teammates being near him. So that's within his 20-meter radius, more or less. The soul bond works in the exact same way. So if you're trying to use the soul bond, you need to have your teammates near you. And also when you're healing up as well, because of the fact it has 2 bounces, you want to make sure you're making the most of that. You're not just healing up one teammate all the time. You want to make sure you're healing up as many teammates as you can because you can heal up to 3, including yourself. And that's quite a lot of heals to go around to the team, especially if you're outputting that 180 HP. And last but not least, you can kind of tank ultimates with this hero. Not as much or as effectively as some other heroes in this game, but for example, if you do have Soul Bond available and Iron Man's using his ult, if you just want to stay alive and you still have your healing abilities available as well, use Soul Bond straight away, tank the ultimate to 1 HP, and then basically heal yourself up as quick as you can. And that is the best way to tank an ultimate with Adam Warlock. It's not the most efficient way compared to some other heroes, but it still can be done, and that is something that's still quite useful to use within this game. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.